everybody, and welcome back to Showverse. My name is Haley, and today we're going through the Arrowverse, specifically Vixen Season 1 or Part 1. I'll get into it in a second. If this is your first video with us, hello, welcome to the channel. There's so many other things to see, but this is part of a series. So if you're not looking for spoilers, please head on back to Arrow Episode 1, or Season 1. This is my Arrowverse series, and Vixen is part of the Arrowverse. So we're going to be covering her first. Initially, it was aired as a season. She had 2 seasons. Actually, I believe these were web exclusive, which is weird. But they were 2 seasons, and they've been turned into 1 movie with a little bit of extra, like a little bit cut down and a little bit added. And I don't know where the changes are because I did not watch this originally, and I only watched it in its movie form. So this is the first half of the movie, which I assume to be the first season, because in the movie it's like 1 year later, and in the original air dates they were a year apart. So I'm assuming this is what was season 1. I'm sorry, I have no idea what the changes are. So if you watch it originally and you're like, what is she talking about? It's, like I say, something that doesn't match up with what you remember. There's a good chance that's the part they added and or subtracted when they made it into a movie. You can find it on Amazon. That's where I had to find it. It was driving me crazy because I'm searching for a series. Can't find it. All that comes up is this animated movie, but that can't be it. Finally, actually read past the first paragraph on the wiki, and it's like, yeah, this was turned into a movie at one point. I'm like, well, there's the... Don't do what I did and try to look for it for a month and a half, not being able to find it anywhere. It's a movie now. It's just called Vixen, and it's a movie. Yay! I was driving myself crazy looking for this show. It's very good, though, so let's get into it. So at the start of the movie, at the start of the movie, we have the Arrow and Flash. They are chasing after our heroine, our main person, and they are voiced by the actors that play the Arrow and the Flash in their shows, so it's connected. And this character shows up in later Arrowverse in live action as well, but this is all animated, this whole movie. But we have them trying to catch our heroine as she's running around. She actually catches one of Oliver's arrows, one of the Green Arrow's arrows, which is very impressive. I wasn't expecting that. It was very cool to see. By the way, during this, it wasn't until this part where her necklace flares purple that I knew who the Vixen was, because as I've mentioned before in previous Arrowverse videos, I had watched some of the Arrowverse beforehand, and before getting hired on at Kai's Korner and deciding to rewatch it so I could get it from the beginning. So I've seen this character in live action first, but I didn't know it was her until the necklace happened. I think it's because her character design changes from animated show to live action, or it could simply be because I never got her name when she was in the live action. There was a lot of names. I'm pretty sure she shows up in the Flash, and they have new names every week. Whereas in the Arrow, at least they're usually fighting like the same person. Like they fight like an organization, so like they have like one name. Whereas Flash, it's just name after name after name after name. So I think I just didn't register it. But she's got a power. Her necklace flashes purple, and then their attacks go through her, and I don't know what animal she is. We find out that her necklace flares, and she's like using the abilities of an animal, and I don't know what animal allows attacks to go through you, but you know. But she also falls, because she was climbing up the side of a building using, I'm assuming, like a chameleon's or some kind of lizard's ability to crawl. She falls, and that's the end of that scene. It kind of like jump cuts, smash cut, full cut to her getting bailed out of jail. Her name is Mari. M-A-R-I. Mari. They're in Detroit, which I live in Michigan currently. And that was weird to see Detroit all the time. It's always weird to see a town in your hometown being mentioned. Especially in the Arrowverse, where they're in Starling or Star City and Central City, which aren't real cities. So it's, you know, a real city being used. Detroit. They're in Detroit. And she's walking home with her foster dad. And they are mugged. And they try to take her necklace. And a creature comes out of the necklace and beats up the muggers. We find out her mom left her the necklace when she was put into foster care. Like, that's the only thing she had was... I keep grabbing... This isn't even a necklace. This is part of my shirt. But she left her the necklace. And so it's the only thing she has from her mom. So she keeps it very guarded. But because of the creature coming out of it, she goes to this local college and asks a professor that she seems pretty familiar with about the necklace. And he's like, well, let me tell you a bit about, like, the symbol. Like, it's, you know, we've got some writings on it about how it uses powers and stuff. It seems magical or whatever. And he says a little bit, but and then she leaves. Not with too much help. And he, as soon as she leaves, pick up the phone and calls a woman who apparently was the one who hired the muggers to take the necklace. And this woman tells the professor if he can get that necklace, the next expedition that he wants to go on, funded, baby. Don't even worry about it. That baby is financed by her. So the first person Mari thinks to trust about this crazy necklace is this professor who immediately sells her out. You can kind of tell at this point that this is definitely a little bit cut up because it feels like things happen very quickly. Because everything I'm saying is happening relatively quickly because it's the first half of a movie. This isn't even a whole movie. It's the first half of one. But Mari goes home and she like uses her necklace to show her foster dad that it works. Cisco from The Flash, if you know, he wears the Flash. He finds Mari and flags her as a meta. But it's weird because she was not in town when the collider went and all the metas were created. She was, I believe, in Detroit. So weird. But he, like, I think he flags her in, like, police things. And Barry asks Oliver for help. And they show up at her house. And then she runs off. And that's the chase that we opened the movie with. So the timeline is all the, like, she got out of jail, did the professor, showed her dad the stuff. Cisco clocks her as a meta. Barry and Oliver show up at her door. She chases. That's when she then catches the arrows and does the things. At first, I was slightly confused for like a second when she was using it just fine. And then the next scene, she was like, whoa, there's a thing happening. But it's because that chase happens now. And the necklace calls on an animal's strength or speed or whatever the like main feature of that animal is, and gives that trait to Mari. So Mari calls on when she's falling, like remember at the beginning she was hanging on the side of the building and she starts falling. Mari calls on an eagle's flight to save her from that fall, and she lets the Flash and the Green Arrow know, you show up at my dad's house again and we gonna catch hands. You fucking stay away from my dad. And then, I don't know, they leave her? The interaction ends. This is very quick. I'm so sorry. I know this is probably like, whoa, that's a lot of shit happening really, really quickly. It happened really quickly in the movie. But she was like, yeah, you show up at my dad's house again, we gonna catch hands. And then she goes to see the professor again for help. Because, hey, the necklace is still doing shit. He immediately sells her out to the woman. I think he, like, calls her so that the woman shows up when Mari is in the meeting with him. The necklace has bound itself to Mari, so she can't even give it to this woman, even if she wanted to. She doesn't, because it's her mom's necklace, so why would she want to give that to this random woman? So the woman's like, no problem, and they shoot a dart in her, and they take her to Africa. We're in Africa now. We learn that the woman is actually Mari's sister, like full-blood sister that she hasn't known since the foster system. Like, I believe the sister was left. Mari's never known her. That's her sister. Zimbabwest is the village that they were born in, and that is where Mari is taken by her sister. Her sister is older and was supposed to be the one to protect the totem or the necklace, but their mom took it while the village was under attack. They took the necklace and baby Mari. So Mari's sister uses a spider's venom to, like, separate the totem from Mari, which first Mari's like, yeah, it's supposed to be yours, so that makes sense. But the spirits of the previous guardians tell her, hey, yo, stop that. Your sister's got darkness in her, and that's why your mom took the necklace from her in the first place. You best be getting that necklace back. So Mari confronts her sister and uses the spirits to help get the necklace back, and uses the spider to venom to get because it had now binded to her sister. So they use spider venom to get it back off and back onto her. And now she has the necklace back. And that's the last we see of her sister. Again, you can tell this is supposed to be a series. Maybe longer. She gets the necklace back and she heads back to Detroit and she starts using the powers to fight crime in Detroit. As you do. And the boys are back. Flash and Arrow. They're back in town. They're like, hey, we want to train you, to handle all this stuff. Like, we can help you. We are vigilantes. That's what we do. So we can help you with this. And she's like, I need some time to figure myself out before that. So later, Gators. But they're like, well, you can call on us, whenever you need help. I assume they exchange some form of details. And Barry's like, my friend Cisco, he named you Vixen. Because my friend, he's like real obsessed with giving all of my people that I fight names. He named you Vixen. Which is cool. Like, it's a good name. Her dad, not super stoked about her being a vigilante, but isn't stopping her. She goes to see that professor again, which I don't know why. But she does. And he's on the expedition that her sister promised the professor that she would finance if they got the necklace. So I'm assuming they'd given over the money, like, before they got back to Africa. Because otherwise, why would she pay for it when the necklace isn't in her hands anymore? But so the professor's gone. But the totem is starting to act funny. So she goes to see her dad's friend, Dr. Vargas, who is a zoologist, for help. Because it's animal stuff, animals. And Mari sees that she is in need of some help around the zoo. So she's like, well, and she like kind of connects with some of the animals there that are able to like feel that connection to her. And so she's like, let me help around the zoo. So she like starts cleaning, cages and stuff. That's her job now. Dr. Vargas is being shaken down by some men who are trying to use her network of people, that bring animals through from, obviously at some point, most of the animals in the zoo were out in the wild. So to use that network to smuggle exotic animals for not the zoo. Because apparently not all the animals in this zoo were rescued legally. So they have that, they're holding that over her and trying to get, her to bring more exotic animals for them over. So Mara shows Dr. Vargas her totem and the powers. And the doctor gives her some tips on how to harness these animal powers, because the doctor knows about animals, so obviously she can help. So she gives her more tips on how to, like, let it happen and let it go and use the powers. And so Vixen beats up the men and turns them into the police. Now she's got her groove back and a new custom suit that she makes. It's super cool. And then there's a 1-year time jump, so I'm assuming that's where the next season would be. So that's the end of season 1 of this movie. Definitely a lot feels like it happened. In a series-wise, it feels a little middle heavy. It feels like they probably cut a lot of the zoo half, or general crime fighting, maybe between the sister part and the zoo part. Maybe there was some general crime fighting that was in there. I don't know, because it feels very middle heavy. The zoo part just doesn't feel quite as important as the sister and the Africa part. But that's what happens in season 1 / the first half of Vixen. This is a lot shorter than my normal videos, because normally they're like 24 episode long seasons. Is that how long they usually are? Let me look. 23, 24 episode long seasons. So usually these are a lot longer. I like Vixen. I like the way, like, in general, that she carries herself. She seems like a cool character. I'm excited to watch the second half of this movie, because I literally just watched the first half and hit stop because I'm trying to watch, the Arrowverse in order. So I'm watching the rest of the seasons of, Arrow and the Flash and stuff that came out around the same time, and then I'm going to watch the second half. So I'm excited to watch the second half of this movie and see what else happens with her. I'm a little confused about her powers, because at the very beginning, like, a thing came out of her necklace to protect her and her dad, and then the rest of it, the stuff, she uses the powers. So I'm a little confused about that, especially because it seems like it only happened the one time. I don't know. I guess I'll have to just wait and see more. I know she shows up at least a little bit in the live actions, and then again, I'm real excited to watch the second half of this movie. A lot happened in the first half, because it was a whole season of show. But that's the first part of Vixen. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. If you haven't seen the rest of the Arrowverse, go check those episodes out. Go check out other things on our channel. We are always doing so much fun things. But otherwise, I will see you guys later. Bye!
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching.
You can check out our website for all the content we produce.
Clicking all those YouTube buttons makes it so you see more content from myself and the other amazing creators at Kai's Korner Productions. All donations help us produce more stuff like that for you.
See you guys in the next one. Peace.